Hello and welcome back to Just a Little Bit. Just a Little Bit is brought to you in part by Destination Trump, Broward County Cultural Division and Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you've been following us for a while, you know that Just a Little Bit is that, just a little bit of news and information. News coming to you from several black news sources, extremely coming from the black diaspora. And this week's Just a Little Bit, everything is happening and centered around this not mishap, but planned disorder and chaos at the White House from a group of individuals that want to take over. Now, I'm not going to deal totally in that for this particular segment. I'm just going to concentrate on a few things. We all know that COVID is running rampant in this country. We're still losing people at alarming rates for the simple fact that they won't wear their mask or they won't wash their hands and won't social distance. And we find ourselves confronted with death after death after death. In this week's West Side Gazette, one of our staff writers, our reporters, Mr. Noonie Robertson, he wrote about COVID-19 vaccine experience. And it happened at one of Broward County's prominent churches, Mount Hermon AME and the New Mount Olive Baptist Church. There was a joint vaccination site, if you would, that over 600 people got vaccinated, which I found to be very interesting. It was geared toward the seniors, okay? And another story in this week's paper is what to expect at your appointment when you go to get vaccinated. Man, there's some interesting stuff that's happening all over this country. I'm torn between focusing in on, like I said, the terrorist acts that happened at the nation's capital. Congress certifies Biden's win even in the aftermath of the deadly protests. 5 people were killed. The national capital, Washington, D.C. President-elect Biden says police would have reacted from a different standpoint if those protesters were black. You better believe if it was Black Lives Matters acting as terrorists, it would have been bloodshed, a lot more than 5 deaths. We have a president for the first time in the history that will be faced with being impeached 2 times. And they're hoping to do this, and that will allow him not to be able to ever hold office of any kind in this country. It's a shame, but things are happening, and we seem to have no control over it. On the brighter side, there's a 12-year-old chef who has landed a deal to launch on-demand cooking classes for kids. Wow, that's quite interesting. And then there's the newest black-owned brand of cereal, Proud Puffs. Wow, what a name for a brand of black cereal, Proud Puffs. And it has faces of black characters on the cereal. So that's pretty neat. One of our youth writers, Layla Davison, she wrote an opinion piece as it dealt with the situation at the White House. The title of it is Racism and White Privilege at its Best. It talks about the dichotomy, if you will, between the 2 different forms of government we have, and one white, one black. She doesn't get that deep into detail. I'm adding to that. There's a story that says, don't come to D.C. for inauguration. Man, who'd ever thought it, that we would not be encouraged to attend a historic event such as this, where we will have our first woman, black woman, to be seated as the Vice President of the United States, and we're asking not to come for fear of violence. Now, there's another story. You may find this of interest. $1 million Be Bold prize to get Broward back to work. The Broward Community Foundation seeks innovative ideas and solutions to get people back to work. Now, I think that's a bit of good news. So with that, we'll end this segment of news you can use. Welcome to 40 on the 40 of Just a Little Bit. It's 40 seconds of the history, faith, and strength and endurance of black people. We implore you to find out more about these historians. Now, This particular gentleman is a hero today. A black police officer saved America on Wednesday. Say his name. Officer Eugene Goodman made himself a target as white domestic terrorists chased him up several flights of stairs. Or should I say, as he led the terrorists away from a room filled with United States senators who were the target of these racist terrorists. Say his name, Eugene Goodman, a black man and a hero. Hey, and welcome to a part that I really like of this show, Growing Our Voices. In this segment, we like to focus in on our young people and listen to what they have to say and highlight what they are doing. And it is indeed an honor for me to bring to the stage a young lady that I've actually seen grow up. I remember her first writing. I remember her even taking the microphone to go and try to interview people. But she is just a unique young lady that will, I'm sure, make her parents proud and also her community. Join me in welcoming Samara Rawls to the stage, please. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Henry.
How are you, Samara?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm well. I don't have any complaints. You know, it's been a while since I had an opportunity to talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah. I think your travels during the summertime, what was it, Virginia, West Virginia?
Yes, I went to Virginia for about half of the summer with my grandparents and my two brothers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So what else have you been doing, Samara? I know you're very busy. I can remember you writing at one point, what was it? You were going into, it was a different school you were going to, if I remember correctly, or something, a different grade? Something?
Maybe a different high school, probably.
Exactly.
From middle school.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how's that transition coming?
The transition has actually been pretty easy. I feel like my school prepared me from middle school to high school. Mm-hmm. Like, they told us what the teachers would expect, so I could be prepared to do that. They prepared us like with the curriculum and everything. They taught us and told us specifically what we would need for high school. Mm-hmm. They would like point it out, remember this. They would write notes for us so we could keep it in the future to remind us.
Yeah,
so
excuse me, go.
Mm-hmm. The transition was good too, and I had friends, but I went to the same grade from 8th to 9th with all my friends, so it was good socially as well. Okay.
And I was trying to remember back. I know that you wrote, there was something about how to, I think it was how you prepare yourself or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did like how to prepare yourself after vacation.
Yeah.
Because we just came back from the holiday break.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard because you could sleep in and wake up late or eat whatever you want and you didn't really have to worry. But one of the tips in order to do this was to make sure about a week before you go back to like set your alarm earlier and wake up earlier every day so you can get your sleep schedule back in routine, because it can be hard. You can't just do it overnight. You're going to have to take maybe 3 days at the least and then a week to continue that. My second step, I believe, was making sure you eat right, because your eating has a lot to do with your health and like even your mental health. So like if you eat unhealthy like you did over the break, you may be sluggish and not prepared. But when you eat healthy, it gets your body back into routine and it can help your sleep, because like I said, if you eat unhealthy foods, it's just not good for your body. But when you eat healthy, it can help you sleep better and just help you be better.
Okay, so that's my problem. I don't eat right. I don't eat right. The fried pork chop got me on.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You know, also too, I didn't know you played flute.
Oh yes, I've been playing the flute since the 5th grade. And it's I like the instrument because it's small. You can blow into it. All the instruments are different because they're much bigger and you hold them in different positions. But the flute is the only instrument where you hold it. That's
wow,
right.
I had no idea. Had I known that, you'd have been playing that flute tonight up here. I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. Okay. Tell me a little bit about your business, your tutoring. Tell me
Oh,
something
yes.
about that. Yeah.
So my business is called SMART, and it's an acronym for Samara's Math and Reading Tutoring Services.
Wait a minute. Say that again, sir.
It's SMART, an
Uh-huh.
acronym for Samara for the S, M, Math, A, and T, Tutoring. SMART.
Yeah.
Oh, R for reading, and then T, Tutoring.
Oh, cool. That's all right. Who came up with that?
My dad helped me come up with that because I took a business class over the summer to start my own business. So
Wait, yeah. Now it's coming back to me. Let me see. You made some waffles or pancakes or something.
oh, egg rolls?
No, what was it?
Was it egg roll disaster?
It was something. Yeah, the egg roll
Okay,
disaster.
I heard about that one. That was
Okay, okay. Now the smart thing. Yeah.
Yes.
How's that going?
the egg rolls.
No, not believing the egg rolls. No. The smart. How's that
Oh,
going?
well, I'm starting to do it. I hope like to launch it during the summertime because I had to focus on my own academics this year, especially starting into high school. So I had to get a feel for how everything is. But I've been tutoring my brothers for a start, and I can help them with their reading problems or their math problems and try and help them out with it.
How can a person get in contact with you if they wanted to use your services, your tutoring services?
Yes, you can email me at smartassistanceforyou@gmail.com. That's my email for the business.
Okay, let's see here. Something else I wanted to ask you. You know, you've always been a spiritual person. You know,
Yes.
how did you get to that point, Samara?
Of my spiritual life?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my school helps me a lot with this as well, such as every week, every Monday or Tuesday, we have a chapel where we can go to, and they give us a time to worship, and they give us a speaker. So that's actually really good because it gives, like, the message always relates to us as 9th and 10th graders directly to us so we can understand it. And on Thursdays, we have this event called a small group, which is you and about 10 of your friends and a leader, such as a teacher. You all gather and you talk about what happened in the chapel and how you can apply it to your everyday life. So that's one way. Another way is also Girls in Christ, which is a group I'm with.
Right.
I've been with them for over a year now, and we meet virtually now since COVID. We do a Zoom about every 2 weeks, and every now and then we do a little fun activity. So Girls in Christ has definitely also helped me grow.
I remember you wrote about that also. Okay, now a little bit about your family. Your family is a historic family. You want to tell us a little bit about your family?
Yes. So I have 2 brothers, my mom and my dad, and my grandfather and grandmother. My grandmother is Annie Ruth Rawls, and she worked at Sunland Park Library for 42 years, and she has the libraries named after her. And my grandfather was Raleigh Rawls, and he owned his own attorney office right there in Fort Lauderdale. So very historic.
Well, Samara, I think that you are actually following in the steps of your grandparents and your parents. You can't never forget them, you know.
Yes, my parents.
I know, like I said, I've seen you grow, and I've always said you had potential, and I believe that. So one day, I hope to see your name right next to Stacey Abrams. You know, I really do, and I think you have the possibility of doing that.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to say? When the last thing you want to say that we might have missed? Anything?
I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, I think I'm good.
You think you're good?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I have one.
What's that?
I just started cheerleading at my school.
Oh, Lord, cheerleader on top of all of this?
Yes, I just recently I saw a couple of my friends were doing football cheerleading, and I always wanted to do it, and I just never really knew how to do it or anything. But I tried out this year, even though I was a little afraid that I might not make it or wasn't good enough, I still tried my best. And I ended up making the team. And I was able to learn many things, very fast and routines. And it's been fun because I've been able to have more friendships with the people there and just bond with them. So it's been really good.
Okay. One thing I like for you to remember, that you can do anything. There's nothing that you can't do, if you just believe it. And I'm telling you this. It might be fearful at the start, but remember, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love and of hope and of a sound mind.
Yes.
And you got that.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Samara.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. All right. What's up? It's our community segment where we try to find out what's going on and who's doing it. And today we have as a special guest, David Muir. Now, David is the president of Island Space. He's one hell of a photographer. Man, I have a book that he it made national, international news. Let's welcome to the stage Mr. David Muir. Yeah. What's happening, Dave?
What's up, Bobby?
Man, it's been a while.
I feel you.
You're doing some good stuff.
Thank you, sir.
You always have.
And listen, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people see a lot of stuff I've done, and a lot of people don't know that I used to do some photography for the West Side Gazette back in the day a little bit.
Yes.
So our paths have crossed in many ways, professionally and it's community-wise. So I respect you, what you do, your business, and who you are in the community, and I'm honored to be your guest this evening.
You see a person, right? And you think and then you start reading and find out, man, this brother here it's more to him. Not taking anything from you, but it's more to you.
I appreciate it.
Share some stuff with what you're doing, man.
Okay, so when you say share what I'm doing, I pause because I am doing a lot.
Yeah.
The primary thing that I do, which I think I'm most proud of, because again, I consider myself a community person, is that the business that I head, I'm a partner with a beautiful young lady. Her name is Caleb Thompson. She too is like me, who is originally from Jamaica. And we run a company called Island Syndicate. Island Syndicate's properties all celebrate our origins, where we are from. And so, really to express that properly to anyone who's watching, we live in America. We are proud Americans, but we also have a heritage that we have to be proud of as well.
Yeah.
And so we do everything we can to celebrate that. So we had a national television show that was, on for many years, syndicated nationally, called Taste the Islands. We also have a magazine which we produce, which is called and so Bobby goes off set.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So two of our last issues of the magazine.
Yes.
Island Origins magazine. We before she was the vice president,
right?
We did put her out there. And then right now we have another wonderful person of island heritage who just got a very prestigious position in the Biden's White House. And so Karen Andre, who's a Haitian American, we're celebrating as well. She's an attorney, a local South Florida girl who went to D.C., got involved. She ran the campaign in South Florida for the Biden-Harris ticket, and she just got a nice position. So she's gracing our cover in this winter 2020 edition. But you asked me about what I'm doing in the community or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the work that I'm doing, Bobby, sincerely is celebrating who we are. And so, and I want to say this, because a lot of people see me and they can't figure me out. I'm a black man, people. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But people can't figure me out. Because, people say, this kid's light skinned. Listen, I'm just a black man doing what black men got to do.
Hey, David, and that's the truth. Aside from your professionalism, David, you touched on something, man. And I know that we, as a people, we need to talk more.
We do.
About
absolutely.
Yeah. We're black. We're here in this country. Yeah, we have different cultural aspects, but we are still one.
We won.
100%.
Yeah. And that's something that, Bob, I can tell you, as long as I've been here, I operate as somebody that's a part of this community. And by this community, I'm talking about I heard you say this word earlier, diaspora.
Yeah.
We the African diaspora.
Thank you.
That's who we are. So, there's a lot of way to slice it and dice it. People say, oh, well, if your family went through the Caribbean, then you some kind of different mix-up. But guess what? We all the same African diaspora. And that's who I represent in every single way. I just happen to promote island people because I did have that family history in there. I moved here in my late 20s to America. I've been here, funny enough, I've been here just about as long in America as I lived in the island. So I'm very balanced at this point. I've certainly been in South Florida for 20 years. So, I'm here. Everybody know this is me.
Okay.
And the most recent thing that we did was we opened up just at the end of last year, the Island Space Caribbean Museum, first in the world. There is no other Caribbean museum in the world. And the first edition of that happens to be right here in Broward County. Again, I'm extremely proud to be of Broward County.
Now, where is it, Dave?
It's at the plantation, it's in the city of Plantation at the Westfield Broward Mall.
Okay.
And we put it there very intentionally because for something that's the first time, you don't know who's going to show up and who's not. So we put it in a place that you can't miss it. It's in a mall that has a lot of traffic, a very prestigious mall for people of the Caribbean. A lot of people come from the Bahamas. That's where they go to shop. So it's like we put it where the Caribbean people are going to come see it. And I want to make sure everybody knows this museum is for everybody. It's a place of education. It's a place of information. So it's for everybody. It's not just for Caribbean people. It's for everyone to come and learn about what we went through. What's the indigenous people of the Caribbean? We went through slavery too. We had to, get independence. We had to set up our financial structures and go through all the different, and that's what our museum is about. It's sharing the history of what took place for a set of people who, again, primarily African diaspora, but we had other people who showed up in the Caribbean too. And so we do have...
No, I can't tell.
That's why I love you, Bobby. That's why I love you. So at the end of the day, all of what we do with our business and our nonprofit business, because we have for-profit too, because we got to eat.
Okay.
And so in all the things, we celebrate a heritage that's just really a big part of who we are. It's a part of what shaped how we look at the world, and we're proud of that. Yeah.
Okay, now, because of COVID, are there any
extenuating circumstances?
Yeah, that would keep the public out. How are you dealing with that?
So the good news is that we haven't had to deal with that as yet, because we have not really done any major promotion of the space. It's really been what we like to call this, the traffic that happened naturally. So we have done. And we have gotten some good media. We've had some friends put the information in their newspapers and online and so on. So people do know about it, but we haven't done any major marketing. So what we've been having, through December, we were averaging probably 25 people a day. Maybe a couple of days where we had 50 people, but spread out over an entire day, there's been no issue. Typically, the biggest groups we had are like, even this past weekend, we had a lot of Broward County judges and attorneys come through as something they wanted to do. So they called in and said, hey, can we bring a group? And I think in total it must have been like 12 or 13. I think it was 13 adults and one child who came with that group. Outside of that group size, typically you only see 3 to 5 people in the museum at a time. So we have enough space that there is no concern. As we move forward, hopefully, I hear you talking in the show about the vaccines. Hopefully, as the county and all of South Florida becomes more safe for us to gather again, then we can sort of build a larger audience. But at this point in time, we really haven't been pushing it to get a larger audience, because we understand the times and public safety is more important than anything else. So, we're just being patient.
Okay. What can we do, Dave, to help? What can we do?
I think the most important things are, there are a couple of things. Any museum, any nonprofit entity is going to need funding. And I'm not asking for funding, but if you ask them what we need, that's part of what we need. So we need a greater awareness so that people can know that's something that's important. We also need to collect more artifacts. So we have collected quite a bit of stuff. But most of it came from my homeland because I know people from Jamaica, and so we have a lot of Jamaican artifacts. We want artifacts that come from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic, from Dominica, from Martinique, I could list every Caribbean island, as well as the mainland Caribbean nations. So Suriname and Guyana and Belize and Panama.
Man, this is an educational experience.
Because
man.
here's the thing,
Yeah.
So, there is this body of water just south of Florida called the Caribbean Sea. To the east of Florida, we have the Atlantic Ocean, and to the south of Florida, we have the Caribbean Sea. And that Caribbean Sea has a number of islands. Those islands are easy to say, oh, those are the people from the Caribbean. But the Caribbean Sea goes all the way to South America. And all those countries that kiss or sit on the Caribbean Sea, we consider them our brothers and sisters too. Mm-hmm. Especially the ones that identify as a part of us. Like, I'm Jamaican, and if you're from Belize, you kind of Jamaican. Like, I mean, not that I'm trying to co-opt their country, because they're their own people, but we're extremely similar. Mm-hmm. The people from Trinidad and Tobago happen to be also very similar to the people in Guyana. So Guyana's on mainland South America, but we consider them a Caribbean nation. Because they sit on the Caribbean Sea and they act in the same culture and in the same ways that we do. So there's this greater Caribbean that people don't even think about. But as a man from the Caribbean, I'm going to tell you, the Bahamas is in the Atlantic Ocean. But you can't tell me Bahamas is not a Caribbean nation. So we love and we accept the Bahamas as Caribbean, even though they're not in the Caribbean Sea. Because culturally, historically, we've all been through the same thing. And that brings us right back to the people here in America that have the same history. We are the same.
But if we don't talk, David, that's what I was saying. If we don't tell our stories, we're only going to get the portion of his story. And his story don't include
I don't want no part of his story.
I'm telling you. So
Let's talk about our story.
Yeah, exactly. There's enough for us to talk. So okay.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
No, you're fine, Mr. Muir. You're fine. So this is just the kickoff point, David. What do we need to do for us to continue this relationship to build? This is something you and I are gonna have to talk about.
Absolutely.
But we want to be a part of it.
Definitely. Well, what we want is we want the community to come and to learn. That's why we have this museum that's talking to everybody about what's our shared history. Mm-hmm. So people need to come and see it. Like, we opened for the first couple of months, we didn't even charge admission fee because we just said it's open to the public. Whoever comes, comes. Now we're asking people to donate $10 for an adult or $5 for a child. So
what's the hours of operation?
We open currently Thursdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, 4 days a week, from the morning to 7 p.m. If any group or anyone wants to come at other times, you can book with us. You can go to our website, which is at island-fl.org. Again, I want to say it slow. So it's island space, not a space bar, but SPACE, FL.org. All the information's there. You can book a tour. You can, plan a special time to come. Whatever it is, we are accommodating. We're giving this to the community and I said giving it to the community, it literally belongs to the community. Any and everyone who wants to participate, no matter where you're from or what your look is, or you're welcome to participate by being a volunteer, by being a docent, by being someone who can work with us, who can help us to, really parse our story from his story. Any part of that you can participate in is extremely important.
Very well. There you have it. Straight from the ghost of Mr. Muir.
The ghost and Mr. Muir.
Mr. Muir on the side. No, man,
Wonderful.
On the real. Thank you so very much, man.
Bobby, man.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely, Bobby.
Let's do it
again.
Love. Man, it's always great to be able to go back in time and realize your greatness. In this Sankofa moment, we do know and understand that the word Sankofa comes from the Twa language, and it means to go back to fetch and get it. So we've gone back to bring in a guest who's been on the show before, Mr. Ramon Robinson, Mr. Positivity Pays. He's a recorder of our history and creator of positive messages. So join me, if you will, and welcome to this stage of Just a Little Bit, Mr. Ramon Robinson, Absolute Robinson.
It's always good to be in the building with you.
Man, it's always a pleasure just to be in your company, too. And I mean that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate
you have a way of making a brother feel good, man.
And you should, though.
That's right. That's what we're supposed to do.
Right,
You know,
right,
and
right.
I really appreciate that.
Of course. Same here. So what's new with the Gazette? I'm looking forward to Black History Month with you guys.
Hey, man, you know, we're getting ready to celebrate 50 years.
That's
You know,
amazing.
so we want to tap into what you're doing, and collectively, let's do something, man. Let's continue to tell the story.
Definitely.
You know,
So 50 years, though. I mean, that's quite a while of recording our history.
man, you know, it seems as if it was only yesterday.
Wow.
I can remember when the West Side Gazette was just a one-leaf paper folded.
Wow.
And we tried throwing it from the back of a station wagon.
Yeah, they don't have no weight to it.
No, man. The wind used to catch it, blow it up like kites, you know. But yeah, so that's what's going on. What's going on with you, man? I like that shirt you got on.
You like this?
I like
This is one of my favorite shirts. Anytime I'm going anywhere, I make sure I have on a fresh
Yeah.
Bobby Henry West Side Gazette shirt.
You know, I've been giving them out to different guests. You know,
That's
and-
awesome.
Yeah, man. So that's thanks to you. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's just the way we look for ways to lift each other up. That's why we created, Brandon Freeney and I created Positivity Pays, is we realize in our community, we appreciate each other, but we don't celebrate each other as much as we should. You know, you might wait to a birthday or a graduation, something of that nature to celebrate somebody, when we're doing great things every day. People are doing great things day in, day out, right? And we miss all these opportunities to really celebrate people and let them know that they are appreciated. It's unfortunate, we'll talk about a person once they pass,
Oh, man.
but we don't tell them that to their
their
face.
face, yeah.
You know, and so just looking at our community, we wanted to do it a little differently. We wanted to make sure that anybody we came across understands that they are appreciated. We are grateful for the company. We are grateful for them making our community better, because as a community, we deal with so many obstacles. The fact that we can get through a lot of these obstacles really says something about the people in the community.
Fortitude, you know. But and Ramon is really serious about this, y'all. This ain't no
Yeah,
joke.
I'm not
He
joking.
don't. This is, and he means that. And believe you me, it's felt. What you got here, though, man? What's
So
going
I have on I have some of the trading cards, not just have it on, but I actually have some trading cards here, right? And so this came to us because we've realized in our community, we've had some of the most amazing people in the world. We continue to have some of the most amazing people coming out of our communities. And they have trading cards, they have books written about them, but a lot of times it's not written by us and it's not written for us. And so we wanted to start creating those trading cards, those
man,
comic
you got
books.
Eddie Frazier.
Yeah, this is the Eddie Frazier card. Yeah. And so these cards are much different than what people are used to seeing, right? And these are really a tribute to the people in our community. So we wanted to make sure those that are doing great things in the community, that you're celebrated every day.
Yeah, this brother here, Tyrus McLeod, man.
Yeah. Tyrus is doing great work. He
Yeah.
does prison ministry.
Exactly, man.
You know, and so one of the things that I
These
love,
ordinary people doing extraordinary things, man.
yeah, we're all ordinary people doing extraordinary
Yeah.
things. That's all of us,
Yeah.
you know, and we just happen to be in a circle of people who've done some tremendous things and continue to do. That's just who we are. And so Tyrus has prison fellowship, and he's been working with mentoring young men that have been locked up and who have life in prison. And a lot of people would never take on something like that, but he's kind of dedicated his life to that. And so we want to make sure to honor him, you know, to be doing something like that.
And I see you're inclusive of all the community.
I am. I'm especially inclusive when people come into our community when they don't have to, right? When you're talking about people who build up in all communities, we want to make sure that we highlight them too, because it's about building us all up, right?
Okay. So how can people get involved with this? What can they do to help support this?
Well, just go to positivitypage.com, right? And so we have on positivitypage.com We have different ways that you can support.
You got some more. You got some life here.
Yeah. So this is like we actually have these gold trading cards. So I'll send you the images so you can actually put those on the screen so people can see exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
But we have a gold trading card. So once, for instance, when you think about a musician and they go gold in the music business, right? They give them a gold album on a plaque, right? This is the concept we're going with. So once so many people have demanded these cards, we then create a gold card for them. That way,
I hope y'all hear this now. You know, you gotta make sure that a person that you recognize in these cards, like Miss Sharif and all the rest of them, and you
Mr.
get
Bobby
that card. Yeah, get that card so they can get a gold card. You know, this is some good stuff here, Ramon.
And so we work with Emmanuel George, and we created Legends of Broward, right? And so the Legends of Broward have Dr. Sistrunk on them,
right?
Esther Roll. We have some really amazing people
yes, you do.
in these cards throughout Broward who have changed our communities for the better. And I would argue have had an effect throughout the world. When you talk about Dr. Sistrunk delivering over 5,000 babies, that man has had an effect globally, not just on a local level. And suing to be able to practice medicine had an effect throughout the country. And so these are the things that we want to bring to light. These are the things that we want to celebrate. We will be doing gold cards with those as well. We want to make sure that we are highlighting these individuals and making sure we're really giving them the credit they deserve as well as the celebration that they deserve.
Okay, Ramon, you guys are doing some wonderful stuff. So now, what you got coming up?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about is being able to work with the West Side Gazette. You know, so when I think of the West Side Gazette, and I think this is part of the problem is of not celebrating. You know, something different comes to everybody's mind. When it comes to my mind, I think historic, right? And so you know, I have this opportunity to work with this historic newspaper that's actually done so much good in our community because I realize the plight of the black community and not being able to be in the newspaper. The Kansas City Star, I believe it was, recently wrote an article about that, right? And how they've negatively affected the black community by not honoring black people for whether it be their inventions or just some of their successes. And when our children don't see images like them doing great things, a lot of times they don't have the possibility of becoming an architect or an astronaut or these things, right? And so they wrote an article in the Kansas City Star, and I thought it was a great start, and it was an apology to the black community, right? But we do have our own newspapers. We have the West Side Gazette,
That's
right?
Thank you.
And so we've been blessed enough to have the West Side Gazette. Every black community wasn't that blessed, right? And so not every black community had access to the West Side Gazette or was able to read the West Side Gazette. So for those of us here in South Florida, that's something that we should be extremely proud of, and we should be honored anytime we get to hold such a historic paper.
You know, standing on the shoulders of other newspapers, the Miami Times is one of the oldest papers in Florida. And then, of course, the West Side Gazette, the Daytona Times, they're black newspapers that actually tell our story. Black people were not made alive, you know, in other media, not until a black newspaper. Now, and then celebrating, coming up in February, again, we'll be celebrating 50 years. And to create another vehicle where we can honor our living legends and those who are still with us and those who have gone on, to actually highlight them on a level of us celebrating our 50 years with what they have done and what you're doing. I think we can have a win-win situation.
Oh yeah, no, this is one of the most exciting things ever because we haven't worked with anybody of the magnitude of the West Side Gazette just yet in the community because these are community building blocks. And that's kind of how we look at that, right? And so you have somebody like Barbara Sharif who's consistently working in the community, consistently building community yourself, Pastor Marcus Davidson. You look at these people and the work that they've done and continue to do with really nobody even thanking them half the time, right? We want to find ways to say that we're grateful, and we want to also educate our youth on the job that you guys are doing, so our youth can grow up and understand that they can become publishers, pastors, doctors, attorneys. We want to make sure that we're opening up their minds to all these different great career paths, but also these great individuals in the community that they can ask questions to, right? So if I can ask you, how do I get involved in this? It's much different from me just seeing somebody on the news and having no idea how they got there.
Yeah. Okay, well, Mr. Robinson, it's always a pleasure. Throughout this month and throughout the month of February, we're going to be highlighting your works because you got feet on the ground.
Right.
You know, you and Mr. George and Mr. Brandon, you're actually doing things. So that helps us. You know, that gives the real meaning to the word community.
Right.
The unity in the community, the coming together, and that's what it's all about. So Ramon, I'm looking forward to this 50th celebration and the things that we're going to do, and we hope that everybody out there pays attention and be mindful of the 50 years of the West Side Gazette and all those who made it possible. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Appreciate you, sir.
No, it's
Thanks
all
so much.
good in the hood.
Yeah.
We're so glad and just elated over the fact that just a little bit is being brought to you from Destination Sistrunk. It's brought to you in part of the Broward County Culture Division, Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. Sistrunk is a door to explore your Black history and all that matters to us as a people. You can get more information from www.destinationsistrunk.com. And remember, it's all good in the hood.